playing Worlds Collide again. I think that's pretty neat. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. This is yet another Worlds Collide seed, yet another Doom's Rage seed. However, two completely different runners. This time around, we have two runners from the Nemesis group. We have HunnyDoo representing Team Doomgaze and EnsignWesley coming up for Team Inferno. I am once again joined by Possum Morpheus in the booth. Possum, what's going on?
Hello. I just thought I'd follow suit.
Yeah.
Excited for another fantastic race between two very, very skilled runners to see what they can do to follow up Javinator and Golden Shocker. Really put the pedal to the metal on these Doom Seeds, get to hitting some stuff, and see who can come out victorious, as these teams are currently split for the week. Team Doomgaze looking to stay undefeated. Team Inferno looking to get it back to level at 2-2. So this is real important for the standings, especially because in that Nemesis group, Team Guardian, with their results this week, has already put themselves at 3-1. So Inferno dropping down to 1-3 would be very, very dangerous for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this is still a Doom's Rage seed, so all the normal Doom's Rage stuff still applies. All of your dead checks are going to reward your big sticks. Our runners are looking to hit monster with big stick until monster dies. And this flag set makes it very easy to do that, both with the addition of weapons in the dead check pool, as well as a plus 20 vigor to the start of your seed. So hopefully they find enough big sticks. Hopefully they get to Unga Bunga all over the monsters and bring it on home for their respective teams.
Yeah, and I do see here as well that we have our normal requirements of 6 characters and 9 espers. We also have 8 characters for the skip, 12 espers, and thank you very much, Wesley, showing us 21 checks. That is the minimum number. So this is a seed where I think we are much more likely to see runners prioritize some dragons, because 21 checks is very attainable with dragons, and you get a lot of safety from those dragons. You get that auto reflect, the auto haste, and potentially even the auto image, and it can help you get to that skip without needing to hunt characters and espers as religiously.
Absolutely. 21 checks is the standard for the skip in Ultras League, and I would say that about 2/3 of the time I wind up getting the skip in any given seed. So here, because our runners have to do basically an extra skip above what Ultras League normally gives you. So here, the requirements are 6 and 9, but you start with 2 characters. So you do have an extra skip on the table for them. But it seems very, very likely that we get a skip here. Also, 8 characters. It's not bad. It is entirely possible that you just wind up on a route where you pick up a bunch of characters at the start.
Yeah, and especially because of the way that characters gate in this this particular randomizer, it's not unreasonable that you could just take every new character you get and just keep doing their checks, and they will likely chain to other characters. It seems to be more common that there's not linear progression, but less forks as far as the character gating. So that's always very interesting to see. Do people prioritize the current characters they have, knowing that it might be espers that are just going to show up, or do they go after some additional, checks from the air quote newer characters they picked up to try to get even more of them? So it will be very interesting to see the approaches that our runners take, and a lot of that is dependent on what 2 starting characters they have. If they get like Realm and Go-Go, that's a lot more limited than, let's say, Terra and Sabin.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that kind of brings me to is that there's a decent chance that your required character is at Kefka and Narsh. And with a 2-character start, that would be rough. And HunnyDoo.
Well, my big is Strago and Locke. Locke gives you early Phoenix Cave. I suppose that is fine. So Phoenix Cave and Tunnel Armor, but my concern is Strago's checks are just, they're checks that exist.
They're Strago checks. Now, In the Warring Triads in general, I have come to appreciate, if not fully embrace, Burning House. It is a lot of fixed encounters, and if possible, if you can hold on to it for later, it can potentially give you a bunch of levels. And we apologize for HunnyDoo, excuse me, we apologize for his stream. We are working to get him back as soon as possible. In the meantime, I will just talk about what EnsignWesley's doing.
He found Doom Darts, which is decent and or money. He found a Mega Elixir, which is decent and or money. He found that the NPC was being a total jerk in Returner's Hideout, which is par for the course. Finds a gold hairpin, which is decent. Looks like HunnyDoo says, I want to know what this curse shield has. It's 10. 10 is not bad. I think that getting it this early, you can definitely make some hay with that. And Wesley showing us some potions, some softs, some eye drops, some warp stones being the big one there, really giving some flexibility to where he wants to go. But the characters are a little limiting as much as the warp stones open things up. An Atlas armlet, a Thunder Rod, some decent stuff floating around. Nothing game-breaking early on, but decent stuff.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we'll take whatever we can get our hands on right now. So my question is, who is going to be the first to dive into Phoenix Cave? I'm calling that there is going to be a character there, and I think it's going to be a juicy one. I think it's going to be like a Terra.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways to handle Phoenix Cave. You either do it now, which would be, very early, or you do it super late so you can fight the dragon. There's really not much in between there.
So the choice was between an Esper, I didn't see which Esper it was, and a Ragnarok. And if I'm honest, that's kind of a tough pick. Ragnarok makes so much of your seed just, I don't want to say free, but it makes it like really, really easy to get through. And that Esper could potentially, like, it's just progression. And I say it's just progression, but it could very well be like an important piece of progression.
Because we're on Doom's Rage, I would honestly take the Ragnarok. I think there's very few Espers that are going to do for you what a Ragnarok will do for you. I might be in the minority on that, but when I started playing this game, I didn't think the Ragnarok was very good. I have definitely come around on that. And on this flag set in particular, with 20 extra vigor and a lock that can use it guaranteed, sign me up. Give me that early offense. I'll figure out the Esper part later. And we also see 2 Genji gloves showing up as well. So
right next to each other. So whoever Genji is, he needs to stop leaving his gloves around. But yeah, no, I would agonize over the choice, I think, but I think ultimately I would take the Rag. It's way too good. And there is not a guarantee that you will find really good weapons in your dead check pool. It could just be a pile of Pearl Lances. And I mean, Pearl Lance isn't the worst weapon, but it's not exactly what you want either.
Yeah, it's no Ragnarok.
It's no Ragnarok.
But that's also very interesting because both runners did the same thing. They took the Esper. So it does create parity, even if it is not necessarily the parity we would have expected it to create. So, relying on a Blizzard sword or, whatever that is ultimately versus relying on a Ragnarok, I mean, that's a pretty big difference.
Power gap, yeah. So I really hope for our runner's sakes that Terra shows up at some point, because that Ragnarok is just, it's oh so tempting.
Now, there's also, what does this Esper have on it? Does it have like Mag 2 and Ultima or something? Or even better, probably Ice 3 and a Mag 2 on it. Like, that would probably be the dream Esper.
The thing is that it, at this point, it would have to have Mag 2 on it because the magic is so low here.
And these, Strago can roll okay for magic. Locke is almost always a potato for logic, from what I've seen. Respectfully to potatoes everywhere. Like his magic, golly, does it leave a lot to be desired most of the time.
Yeah, it's not the worst. I think normally he rolls around the low 30s for magic. So here, I expect him to have 20, perhaps like high teens.
And worth noting, no Ultima in the flag set. I did forget about that. So yeah, that's not even a thing. No Ultima, no Merton, no Fire 3, and
Nope.
no Lit 3, or Bolt 3, excuse me.
If you want to cast spells, really hope you like ice. Really hope we see ice. It's actually my experience has been that it's pretty rare to actually see like ice 3 on an Esper. And that's kind of distinct from Poltergeist, where you normally see like a bunch of Fire 3 or Merton or both.
Mm-hmm.
And Ultima is also available in the Polty Seed. So, here, again, you really want to find the big stick and hit big stick.
Yeah, I think so far the only thing we've seen are Genji gloves, Genji gloves, Genji gloves, Genji gloves, and also Genji gloves. We also, I think, saw a Wing Edge, but it's primarily been Genji gloves.
Well, can we Genji glove Wing Edge? Can the dream be realized?
I assume this is some sort of inside reference that I do not understand yet.
Nope, I'm just being dumb.
Oh, okay.
So EnsignWesley unfortunately flew right over his next destination, which is Phoenix Cave. EnsignWesley, if you're listening to this, you need to go to Phoenix Cave. That's where Terra is.
We find second Doom Darts. We also see some Wing Edges there. But yeah, the Phoenix Cave play also is interesting because there is a moderate amount of loot there too. And we are kind of hurting for stuff without that Ragnarok. So maybe folks are going to buy up a bunch of small items and maybe make a Coliseum play. It's not Poltergeist, so you don't get the benefits of getting the jumper set, but it could still pay dividends. Or just find EXP eggs if you're EnsignWesley, hanging out. And yeah, this isn't Miranda, so that doesn't have the value. But what is this? Albrook?
Albrook is the new Miranda.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's actually really huge for Wesley, if only because Albrook, it's not really checked all that often. And normally you only go there if you're really hurting for something. But here, EnsignWesley finding that egg and having it pay off like that. We'll see if HunnyDoo actually winds up going and doing it. But HunnyDoo does pick up a peace ring, so is going to. It seems to me like he's going to actually try and decurse that shield.
You know what else is really good with an EXP egg? A Ragnarok.
Fixed encounters.
Oh well, those two.
Oh, okay.
But so I don't remember if it was both runners or just one. Someone found a ribbon as well, so that they can use with the curse shield to get that going. So I don't think getting the curse shield online is that much of a problem, but it's definitely a situation where, making sure your offense is in order is of the utmost importance. Yeah, like Wing Edge is cool, but it ain't the be all end all.
Absolutely not. And that's why I would have taken that Ragnarok, just because, like I said, you got to get through encounter somehow. And what are the abilities here? Like health something, not offensive,
not throw, not slot, not rage, not lore,
sword tech,
not sword tech, not Magitech. I don't think you can have Magitech in this, but not shock because it's not in this. But it's none of the early offense stuff. Falcon Hit saying that Alexander the Esper does have Ice 3, but no stats. Honestly, though, if you can get Ice 3 online, even if it's a bad Ice 3, that's still Ice 3 early on.
It's worth learning at the very least, and maybe you get lucky later on and you find the you find the Esper that has like mag 2 on it, and then you're a happy person. But like right now, it's still fine. You just need the MP to cast it.
This is a great encounter for XP if we can get through all of it before it kills us on HunnyDoo's side, and should be fine here. The Wing Edge is going to cause a potential issue with some of these enemies, because if it kills them, they'll just come back. but HunnyDoo knowing which enemies that he's going to need to focus on with that.
Yeah, this is a fantastic encounter. 3 of the 4 enemies there can just be revived, and it's very EXP dense, so...
Yeah, and that is a whole whopping 2,400 XP and 20 magic points as well. Picking up Meteor and X-Zone. And looks like the choice to do this was also because there is a healing spring here, so can even take another one of these if he so chooses.
I would be tempted. It's a really good encounter. This, however, is terrifying, so please... Yeah. Okay.
This probably ends HunnyDoo's adventures in this cave.
I would hope so. As much as I love the Brain Pan, Apocryphos, Misfit, level 80, level 90 magic.
HunnyDoo says, I will take another encounter, but this time outside, because inside is scary. And he finds Maligas and rabbits. This is not as good an encounter, but it is a very easy one.
The rabbits heal you. That's kind of cool.
Reach frogs on Wesley's side.
That is a much better encounter because I have it as an emote. And also, I think this fight gives you just an absolute ton of gil.
Yeah, it's going to give him like 15k, right? Something like that?
7k, but he's also...
But early on.
Yeah. Love reach frogs.
Love them until they start jumping.
That's honestly that's part of their charm. Oh, this is a even better encounter. Oh my goodness.
If we don't die. But we shouldn't die this early on. So
no, like I don't these things don't do anything. They just kind of sit around and be experience for you.
Well, the birds can be jerks because birds are always jerks. But yeah. The dragons I haven't seen them do anything.
Well, the other thing too is that Wesley, he has that egg, so he's getting double the rewards here.
Yeah, and that is a juicy 6k off the rip there. Going to be even better for Wesley there. So both runners, honestly, finding some good encounters to get them going. But that egg for Wesley is going to give him an early advantage, in my opinion. A little surprised he's taking another encounter here, but I also get it because they're not difficult with what his scaling is versus what his power is.
Oh, there is nothing wrong with just leaving the Moogle Charm arm while he loots here. Both sets of encounters down here are phenomenal. I'll take 50 levels, please and thank you.
And then anyone who joins the party after this, they're joining at the average level of the party members. So if you get to level 30 in here, that means every other person is joining at buku levels as well. Not going to run into issues except when these frogs jump. This is annoying because it's time. It's not annoying because it's bad or scary, but
yeah. Well, it just gives you time for Locke to use his health command. And then you wait 40 years for the frog to land, and then it does a whole 2 damage, and then you kill it.
And speaking of killing things, Strago, Ice 3, Welk, GG, carrying right on and moving on through. So yeah, very well done by HunnyDoo getting through his first check here, first boss fight, I should say. Not a difficult one, and gets a realm. Speaking of characters that like Ice 3, that's a Sword Tech realm with 39 magic. Love that.
Yeah, so where is Cyan? And actually that's really good for Wesley because he has that egg. He's virtually guaranteed to get Sword Tech 7 on that realm, unless for some unfathomable reason he does not look in the cave.
Yeah, that would be odd. Now, are the encounters I was going to ask in the basement here different than they are in the other level of the basement? They look to be the same.
Yep, they're always the same.
Now, at what point does this become diminishing returns for Wesley, though, where like his scaling, or rather his number of checks done is not enough to merit getting only 5k XP per fight? Or does it take a long time for that to happen?
Honestly, it's right about now. Where like what would be interesting, and like I don't think this is going to be happening, but what would be interesting is if Wesley comes back here later, once he is scaled up, and then just farms Aquila Chaos Dragons and Reach Frogs over and over again. Okay, sometimes you also have to deal with the Grasshoppers, but whatever. At this point, I put the Moogle Charm back on and then continue about my business. You're in your 20s. You're just over 15 minutes into Seed. Yeah, might as well.
And we do get Burning House from HunnyDoo here.
Yep.
Anguiforms. That's not a real encounter. It can't hurt you, but you can hurt it.
It is that. So that Anguiform is in the opposite location of where it would be in the vanilla game.
So you mean the fish out of water would not be in a burning house?
Not normally, no.
Okay. I'm glad you corrected me on that because I was getting a little concerned there.
Anytime. Movers are okay. I love the mover encounters. They're very easy, and they give you a bunch of MP. But unfortunately, they do not give you a bunch of gil, I don't think.
No, but don't they give a ton of not just MP but also XP?
I don't think it's a bunch of XP.
Okay.
I might be wrong about that.
I mean, it's nice to have dispatch though, because they have super high defense and super high magic defense, if I remember right. Level 4 flare, that is unforge, as the kids say for HunnyDoo.
Yeah, that's not great. Wesley taking a look at the Coliseum. I didn't see anything too terrific. He got a behemoth suit there for some ice cream, a dirk for a red cap, and he just fight a Luridon. That seems good. This lock is cracked. Unfortunately,
well, that Luridon not going to do much now. It's muted.
It's very quiet.
Lock, my dude. Press the A button.
Please swing your mighty sword.
There we go. All right. Locke able to defeat the final boss, the Coliseum monster.
Level 25 already. My goodness.
Always love it when you have more levels than there are minutes elapsed in the seed. That is always a great feeling.
So yeah, we'll see where he decides to go. I'd be tempted to just go ahead and jam. And he's doing exactly that.
With the early Ice 3 Esper, would you, and with scaling the way it is right now, would you ever consider an early Fanatics Tower play? If it's a character and you peek it. Also, these level 80, 90 magics are haunting our runners. But there was a Moogle Charm not put on Wesley's side, so that's why he's seeing them. That is certainly going on.
If I were to do Fanatics Tower, well, it would have to be a character, and I would have to do it like basically right now, because otherwise, the enemies are just going to vastly outscale the magic damage that you're capable of doing.
Right. Yeah, that is my question with the early Ice 3. So I do always wonder about things like that, but looks like we probably won't find out that answer if I had to guess. And let's see on HunnyDoo's side, what are we going to get out of these movers now? Are they going to cooperate? Are we going to be able to get through? Are we going to be, getting level 4 flared? Looks like we're going to drop some rocks on them while Wesley just removes Welk. And the rocks remove the movers. 2,600 XP, 12 magic points. So not as good as we thought it was, I think, on either side there.
I see, and I always get these confused because the movers in like Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VII are just terrific encounters, right, and you want to see them all the time. Here, yeah, it's a little worse for wear.
Yeah, because like in Final Fantasy V, they're literally at the very end of the game before your final boss, and that's what you want to grind on. So that confusion is warranted because yeah, you would think
And
there'd be some continuity within the game. Well, nope.
not
Also,
quite,
Paladin Shield unlocked already for HunnyDoo.
which is very good. I don't think Wesley even bothered. And I think, did you see the flame shields for sale? In any event, gonna go and check out Jador here. Gonna go and do Alder's Mansion. Um, I definitely don't hate this play. I think I would wait a little bit just because of the fixed encounters, and see if I can't get a little bit more bang for my buck later on. HunnyDoo, meanwhile, finds maybe the worst possible boss you could find here. Does have a Thunder Rod, which is good, but also this guy
Diffuser is bad.
sucks.
Diffuser is less bad. Okay, we're fine.
Okay. Well, so with the one shot, it's fine. I did not expect that to one shot.
And looks like we are getting the egg on Sword Tech Realm for Wesley makes a lot of sense. You really do want to get the scaling going to get a Sword Tech 7 as fast as possible. And Saberwolf quite happy as Fenrir has shown up from Burning House. So
It's
Burning
in my
House,
contract. I can't help it.
Burning House is Saberwolf's favorite check of this seed, and that is perfectly fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell no.
Fenrir's-
No. Don't just say that.
So you heard it here first. Saberwolf just loves Burning House. He goes there first every seed. He loves it even more than when free fits.
So the rest of our commentators have been muted now for the rest of the races. I take over. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no. Anyway, Fenrir, phenomenal Esper. That's going to give HunnyDoo some really nice columns protection. And with the way that it works, Wesley just may not ever go in there unless he's forced to.
Yeah, definitely could see that happening. We have Boris here, or Boras, or however you pronounce them. Zozo enemies with very high evasion. They are not evading Sword Tech 4 though, and Realm says hello and goodbye, my giant friend. Give me your goods and services. Dispatches and is going to be on their way to see what is up next.
And then there's Narapa, who got in the zone. Auto zone.
Oh, I thought this was like EA Sports or whatever.
EA Sports. We get demonetized.
Something like that. So yeah, HunnyDoo able to get through, no issues there. Narapa basically always a free boss. Almost always anyway. Wesley, meanwhile, going through, doing some re-equipping and rearranging of things, and is going to take on whoever is here at the Owser's Mansion check, and it is going to be a Yeti. That is actually quite interesting, because Narsh is not terrible right now. Opens up a dragon if you want it, gives you the Tritalk spot, lets you do the Yeti check. Kind of checks off a lot of boxes there.
I'd be very surprised if Wesley just doesn't immediately go there, unless he decides to go to Phoenix Cave, which is definitely the best check in the game.
And
does have the
speaking
Terra there just waiting.
Ah, yes. Speaking of potential dragons, which Wesley is, potentially incentivized to go after with that Omaro, HunnyDoo saying, I want my auto reflect and I want it now. That's unlikely what he's actually saying. He's probably thinking, gosh, I wish I would have taken that Ragnarok. Let me see if I can get one from this dragon.
Ragnarok, Illumina, Atma Weapon, VK, any number of things, really. Auction House is dead. We do not need to sit through 100 imp robots. That is probably for the best.
Stone, multi-target. Oh, here we go. Clown Fiesta time.
The worst ability in the game. What if the enemy had Noise Blaster?
And thankfully, our party is cooperating.
An Air Force in the air. Who'da thunk?
I mean, appropriate.
Yeah. I think Wesley gets through this just fine, but that's got to be okay. Yeah, got to be a little scary for him though. Like surprise.
Yeah, it's a jump scare boss for sure because it can pump out a ton of damage at you in a hurry. Air Force has very little HP, but boy, when it decides to go like launcher into random nonsense and just devastate your party, especially when you're not searching the skies and the skies come searching for you, it can get super awkward. Magus Rod, not what HunnyDoo wanted from that dragon, but Wesley gets an extra Esper that way.
Yeah, that's potentially pretty big for him. Magpie +1 with X Zone, so not the best, or excuse me, not the worst.
No, it also gives you kind of a baby Ultima at the end of the day. Like, Bahamut is still Bahamut.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you can't multicast it like you can in Polti and Goddess Seeds, but it's still
Okay.
like, yeah, it's not bad if you need a one shot of anything. And then HunnyDoo, oh, let's go.
Now, lots of divergence from our runners in this seed. The last seed we did was very fairly similar on the route with just a couple dragons mixed in here and there as a big difference. This time we're seeing two runners just going all over the place compared to one another. So likely two paths are going to come out of this successfully because of the kind of forking nature of the characters that we've seen so far. However, there is a chance that either, like this lane dries up that HunnyDoo's going down, or the one Wesley's going down dries up, and you just never know, how things are going to turn out. We see a Super Ball for HunnyDoo from random looting, and we see a Gold Dragon that starts with a Bolt Edge on Wesley's side. Never fun, but he is very overly scaled at this point from those early encounters in the XP Egg. This is not going to be much of a problem.
Well, I hesitate to say that just because it's the Gold Dragon, and the Gold Dragon, it is one of the ruder ones. It's got a bunch of HP, so
no, it doesn't.
It does. The thing is that it's got a bunch of HP. It has a bunch of multi-target stuff. It is almost as bad as say the Blue Dragon. Right.
Just
the
with
Blue
more
Dragon.
health.
Well, and the thing with the Blue Dragon is that there's basically nothing in the game that absorbs water damage. So you're gonna eat this water edge and you're gonna like it. But Blue Dragon at least has 0 HP, so HunnyDoo just walking right by that Illumina there, which is just super unfortunate to see.
That's okay. The dragon down here's got another one.
That's fair.
Speaking of dragons, both runners have one, so we are not getting the no dragon route that we have seen once today already. Both runners opting to take on dragons as they see them. Again, makes sense to me because the skip is in play at 21 checks, so the dragons just make it a lot more appetizing to just go for that. A nice use here by HunnyDoo of the little save glitch, where you can toggle your party and then save with the other one, use sleeping bags, tents, etc. And so is able to heal up the party, which leads me to believe this party is going to take on that dragon. And that's exactly what Honey opts to do here. And speaking of the ice dragon...
this is a little awkward. I think he gets through the encounter just fine, but he did pick up that Super Ball, so yeah, that helps a lot. It's still a little awkward just because it's he's doing this with 3 party members and not a full 4.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's going to get left behind a little bit. Whether that winds up mattering, yeah, pretty decent ball.
Super Ball go boing boing. Wesley picks up a Magicite for his trouble. Opts not to go after the monster in a box, so missed the Katana Soul with the offering. That's unfortunate for him. But HunnyDoo also left that Illumina behind you were talking about, so it's all good. It evens out.
It's a trade, yeah. Didn't pick up the Illumina. Does get a nice set of fixed dice, though, so definitely going to be hunting the the offering there, so might be a little bit more incentivized to check that chest if he decides to go and get Umaro. Meanwhile, there is a character here, unsure who it is yet. We didn't peek it in the World of Balance, so who comes stomping down the stairs?
Terra would be the big winner. It is decidedly not
Umaro's
Terra.
best friend, Gogo.
Yeah.
And the ghost of Terra, unfortunately, HunnyDoo just took too long to get there, and so she tragically passed away in the smoldering ruins of Phoenix Cave, and left behind the Crusader Esper. So poor one out for Terra.
It would have been interesting if that was Maduin, but we had already found that one, I believe.
Yeah.
It would have been morbid too, but
the choo-choo train also goes in the zone.
Evil Toot Toot. Oh, we are unequipping the Yeti. So Gogo is coming in over Yeti.
I disagree with this.
What are we mimicking here? Because, like, Yeti is legitimately good offense.
I disagree with this as well.
And here is my Fanatics Tower play. HunnyDoo going for this Gao.
It is a Gao there. Okay, so that's actually pretty big. And Wesley, doing the sensible thing and chasing after that go-go check. So didn't go down to 1 when he had the chance to reform his party, so has to waste a little bit of time here.
HunnyDoo also likely going to go after this dragon, as he's already at 2. This would put him at 3. I reckon he'll probably take the dragon after he does the fight up at the top, just to keep scaling in check, but maybe he goes for the dragon first. What's your thought on that, Gar?
I am a little scared, like, to do the dragon after the boss, because like, if the dragon sucks and you do it after the boss and you wipe, well, then you wipe. You got to do the whole thing over again. If you're gonna wipe, you might as well do it before you commit to anything. But HunnyDoo, quick enough to get that mute off on the white dragon, so he is now harmless. Enjoy your free.
Yeah. Something that I just learned was you can mute the white dragon, so there you go. And Wesley gets a very cooperative leprechaun, or whatever those dudes are, just walking on the platforms, able to get through that death trap that is Gogo's check very quickly. And speaking of quickly getting through things, the white dragon goes down rather quickly, and we'll see what the boss is in just a moment on HunnyDoo's side. But does pick up the auto haste there, so he has auto haste and reflect. And gets a Ragnarok, so that's a big deal.
100%. So I think that's going to put HunnyDoo in a decent spot here. We'll see if there's a character here. It is not. It is just
Well, If you're not going to get a character, a Valiant Knife is a
you hate that it's dead, but you like to see a VK.
I mean, we already had incentivization to go after an offering. That just makes it even more clear.
Okay, EnsignWesley now going to go into Phoenix Cave. Is a little bit better set up to take advantage of the dragon, and it looks like he has set up his party in order to do so. But yeah, what checks are we missing? So I guess progression is entirely behind that Gao.
Yeah, it's all got to be behind Gao. So effectively, this is a Fanatics Tower Doom's Rage Seed, which I think EnsignWesley is going to last location that. Honestly, I think he's going to be doing everything else before that.
Haydn is still available to our runners, by the way.
Maybe everything other than like Ebbett's Rock.
Ebbett's Rock is in play. I did forget about that. So maybe that's where Terra lives.
A very favorable boss to find at the top of Fanatics Tower here as well. Just an Ultros. There is basically no scary Ultros. Might take a hot second here just because we're relying on Ice 3. but yeah, not too bad.
Nah. Well, of the Ultroses, this is Ultros 3. This is probably the scariest one. But I mean, not gonna have any issues getting through it. But you
Ultros'
do need to
form has
beware his
changed.
Tri-Elemental attack.
That is a Pokemon move, Tri Attack. So yeah, can't say I've seen it in this game. But here comes Storm, and it healed Strago. Nicely done.
Oh, he's wiggling.
And physical attack. That's illegal in Fanatic's Tower.
Ultros is a cheater.
Exactly. Absolute
But you
Zero.
knew
That's
this.
spooky, but probably fine. Yeah. Just really wants to heal up Strago there. Very nice of the Octopus. But HunnyDoo is done with Fanatic's Tower. Going to get his Gao. Has 3 dragons to his name. And because of the pathing of this seed, this is going to be very beneficial for him versus Wesley, who will have the level advantage basically throughout the seed, but is now down a Ragnarok, but up a Valiant Knife. More importantly, though, does not have this Fanatic's Tower check under his belt, which we know is the answer.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is that Wesley's going to be a little bit more scaled up than HunnyDoo is. So even though it is just Ultra 3 at the top, going to take him a little bit longer to take care of it. So yeah, I don't think he goes to Fanatic's Tower right away. I think he checks Ebbett's Rock first, or he hasn't done Burning House either.
Have we seen Kefka and Arch yet?
We have not.
No. And also, he just put Paladin Shield on lock with a VK.
We'll see what this Gao has.
Throw. Make it interesting. Runic Rage. I think the time has passed on Rage being useful.
Oh my goodness.
That is incorrect.
That was a 4-party Frozen.
Good old Northcross. The best ability in the game. That isn't multi-target Storm. So yeah,
that's
Wesley gonna
unlucky.
try again.
Good thing you saved. Surely it can't happen again.
The thing with Rage is that you get a bunch of them in Doom Seeds.
Stray Cat, Goat Bear, right. They're real good.
Especially when you've got just a ton of vigor.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I forgot about that. I always think of like, oh, I'm going to use Rage early on, and unless I see Stray Cat, it kind of is like, falling off a little bit. But it definitely can have long-term uses in this with the, the multiple enemies that allow you to hit multiple times or hit harder. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. Both runners would love to have offerings for various things at this point as well. Neither one able to find them quite yet.
Yeah, Wesley, I imagine, is especially thirsty for one. Leader here is going to probably fall to this flare, if I'm honest, but we'll see. Maybe not.
Yeah, Locke's magic power, leaving a little bit to be wanted, but X-Zone, yet another thing, going into the void.
Get in the zone. It is a character. And oh, Terra was there. Sorry, I saw her in a cave. I just thought it was Phoenix Cave.
That is interesting, though, because that means that Wesley is almost certainly going to get that Terra very soon, because he's not going to Fanatic's Tower, and in fact, very soon is in about 2.5 minutes' time, probably. So both runners will have an extra Ragnarok from the dragon, or excuse me, from the second lock check behind Welk. So that'll level up both of them, giving them extra power. And that's kind of what you're hoping to see in these seeds is just big sticks that you can hit things with. And our runners are really going to get to do that. Plus having a sword techer, just real good stuff all around.
Yeah, 100%. This does give a little bit of time back to EnsignWesley because he is very unlikely now to climb that tower. However, HunnyDoo already has all 6 of his characters, so does not need to find any more. May opt to go for a 7th if he winds up dry on Espers.
Yeah, it's interesting because like a lot of the remaining checks, like Divers is not super appetizing right now. Let River is not super appetizing. Like Mobliz is a little awkward. Kefket and Narsh is a little awkward. But we might see that since we're going to be doing the Welk check right now anyway. Just still a lot of very awkward checks. I almost feel like we're guaranteed at least a 7th character for our runners. At which point there's a little incentivization to get the 8th character also and just get the skip. Some dried meat for HunnyDoo, so may do that part of Gao's routine there. But just very interesting how this one's routing. 6 characters, 3 Espers on HunnyDoo's side. Do we have 6 Espers on the table with our remaining available checks? I kind of doubt it.
Well, at least one of those checks is going to have to be filled by a character, right? So we have seen nothing from Terra and nothing from Gao, so that's 7 on the table. In theory, that is enough, but in practice, it might not be. Now, has either runner checked Syntheef yet?
Great question. I know that one of them was there early
Stand
on,
by.
but don't remember who.
Neither one of them have done Syntheef.
So that is also potentially an option. That plus Kefka at Narsh, and my opinion is that if you're here already with Terra, you might as well go up the mountain because you're never going to be closer.
Agreed. Now for Wesley, there's a world where he could end up getting Mog and then doing all of Narshal at once. This is not a fun fight. Ogors are mean. They love to zombite, and they love to just be jerks and ruin your day. They're better off dead, and in this case, dead is what the first Marshal is, courtesy of a 4,000 damage swing from a Ragnarok.
Well, an interesting development. There are Valiant knives for sale.
And we have Genji gloves, so
please sell the gem box.
Oh,
yes.
That pains me.
Well, I know because you bought 3 of the damn things, so don't do that anymore.
But it's fun.
It is fun. So able to buy 2. Can possibly.
I think he wants another one.
It looks like he's gonna get a 3rd one. Yeah.
It makes sense because you have 2 Genji gloves, so you want 4 Valiant knives. That's just how math works.
I would be so incredibly thirsty for an offering right now. Several offerings.
Honey just got an Atma weapon and a Ragnarok weapon.
Yeah, so HunnyDoo, the Welk check was dead, coughed up, and Atma weapon does get that Ragnarok at the end. Decides not to climb Narsh. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be trying to squeeze out any Espers I could. Oh, has HunnyDoo not set up
He forgot
Lone
to do
Wolf
Wolf
yet?
Okay. So that makes a lot more sense now.
Yep, 100% makes more sense. Go set up Lone Wolf, do Lone Wolf, come back down, do Kefket Narsh. Yep, totally understand, and then do Moogle Defense if he hasn't already done it, which he may have already done Moogle Defense.
I don't believe he has, no.
Okay, I'm C blending then.
Wesley, going into the treasure house, will see what glorious wonders await us down here. Hopefully, it's actually glorious wonders and not just a bunch of Phoenix Downs and Yidji helmets.
I mean, we saw an elixir, X potion,
the horn of a dragon.
I will also note that HunnyDoo now knows that Gogo is behind Yamaro now.
Yeah, the thing for HunnyDoo, he knows Gogo's behind Umaro, but doesn't have Umaro. That would give him the skip, though. So when he finds, or if he finds that Umaro, he knows he has an 8-character skip. But at that point, I think he's going to be darn near 21 checks. You'll never get to Smagus Rod. That is, yeah.
Probably true, yes. So Wesley opted to just loot the house and then go back out. And I would really like to see him just go ahead and go through the cave. It's like, if you don't loot anything, it's about a minute and a half trek for whatever lies at the end. And again, Wesley's probably in a position where you don't really care what what's at the end, because it's going to be useful to you in some way.
Right. Very cooperative Ogres there, not doing any mean or disruptive things. Palador was the pickup for HunnyDoo.
Okay, so that's going to bring our runners up to parity with each other. There's that Atmo weapon. Wesley going to also get this rag. What am I going to do with all these sharp swords?
I mean, would you ever go rag VK here on one person if they're not going to be fully healed? Or excuse me, if they are going to be fully healed?
It's not awful. I think I would just stick with double VK, but I mean, there's advantages to doing that.
Also, remembering on Wesley's side where the Atlas armlets were, goes back and buys 2 of them and says, Kefket Narsh, thanks, but no thanks. I'm out.
Yeah, Wesley doesn't have Mog, so a little bit less incentivized to go and take care of whatever's at the top there, which appears to be Atma. Not a horrible fight. Just don't wombat me, bro. Okay, so it looks like Terra's going to get a Rag Gauntlet combo. Very, very nice.
Magus Rod VK. Yeah, that's probably not happening. I think VK is much more likely here.
I've been down bad before where I've had an Umaro with an offering and a Magus Rod putting in some work. Sometimes you got to do what you've got to yabba dabba do, right?
And there's no one that Unga Bunga betters than that Yeti. Yeti go burr.
Yeti go burr. There were rats.
Yeah, one of the nice things about all of these wonderful items and relics is that, well, you need someone to have a Moogle charm on still.
Yeah. Now, if that were a juicy encounter, I would be tempted to just walk it out.
Sure.
But EnsignWesley already knows where the juicy encounters are.
Yeah, the basement.
All he has to do is go back to...
Yeah.
Just go to South Figaro. Go to the basement. Go find the Chaos Dragon or the Reach Frogs. Hi, Cyan. Cyan's actually a great character for HunnyDoo here.
Yeah, that puts full sword tech online. So Doma Dream is 100. Well, maybe not 100% the next check, but because he might just do Doma Defense. But Doma Dream's got to be on the short list here.
Doma Dream is like I would place such a high value on it. You've got 2 checks in there that can reward either Esper or item, and a third, which is either a character or an Esper. Plus, you get Cleave. It's relatively quick. It's way too good to pass up.
Yeah. I think the only way he doesn't do it immediately is if he stops at Doma Defense first, since he's already in World of Balance. But yeah, the Doma stuff is happening ASAP.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Sword Tech is so good getting it fully unlocked. Cleave is your instant death. Sword Tech 7 is just bonkers good, even with all the the heavy hitting that we have. Sword Tech 6 to give stop if we don't already have it. Just a lot of real good stuff out there.
Yep. Top of Zozo was a mere apple weapon.
Can I ask a question, guys? So how do you feel? You're 50 minutes in, you're still 6-4, 5 espers away from unlock. Are you feeling a little uneasy right now?
Yes.
I would feel like my opponent is playing the same seed as I am, and that if I'm playing logically, I would expect my opponent to be doing the same. So I'd expect them to be in somewhat of a similar situation. I'd be looking at my execution and saying, have I executed better than I think my opponent will? Should I be nervous or should I not be? And I think you have to weigh it based on your opponent and your own performance. And I don't think either runner has a reason to be super nervous because they both executed very well to this point. Maybe the initial point of nerves was, the Esper versus Ragnarok decision, but I think at the level these two are at, they have to be more introspective in running the race and not be so nervous about it. That would be my feeling, coming from a different randomizer where I'm a very high level runner. That's how I would look at the situation.
And personally, I just hate being, you're nearly an hour into the seed. You've got 4 espers. The seed has been fairly linear up until recently, like with the addition of Terra. And that's another character, so that's going to put the skip online for HunnyDoo.
Sorry. Hi, girl.
Doomgaze.
And Doomgaze is... Ooh. Doomgaze ain't what you want to see. Doomgaze with bad math, even more so.
Yeah, this may be a go do Doma Dream and then come back and do this afterwards when you know what your levels are. And you can just pick up your skip from this if needed. And otherwise just kind of say, no, I'm good. But we are going away from Doma Dream and going to go to Esper Mountain.
I was going to say,
He's
didn't you already do
done
this?
it.
And we are now going away from Esper Mountain. We are doing...
Okay. Serpent Trench.
Serpent Trench. And he has dried meat. But this check is kind of spooky this late into a seed.
I actually really like it. It's 4 fixed encounters. You've got, like, in any Worlds Collide seed where you're relying a bunch on physical offense, which is the case in the vast majority of Doom seeds, you want to stack levels. All you want is levels. And so if this trench is just filled to the brim with goodies, then that really puts HunnyDoo in a commanding position.
Yeah, I meant the check he's doing now. This having already fought so many different things could be a little spooky. The trench is still fine, but actually doing the I don't even know what this check is actually called. The Velt dried meat Lobo check. This is the one where it's like I like to do this super early or do it like never.
Or do it never, yeah.
But like he's here and he's just going to do both of these, it seems, or at least this one since he has those dried meat. But a little surprised we didn't get an immediate Doma Dream after that Doma Defense reset.
And it is an Esper, so once again, both runners at parity. EnsignWesley picking up that Palador at the top of Narsh Cave. HunnyDoo picking up from that random guy on the Velt. And it looks like... Oh, never mind. He just has to change party member. So he might stick around and do Serpent Trench here.
Yeah, remains to be seen. Well, Wesley is going to give us that look at Kefka and Narsh here. And yep, off to Doma Dream. I think this is the check we were all expecting, even if it was a little later than we expected it, but we knew this was coming. Sword Tech, too important to get online.
Yeah. So HunnyDoo definitely has incentive to do Doma Siege just because of that character skip. He is probably not going to go and get that Umaro, having already seen the Celeste. Wesley, meanwhile, his options look a little bit different.
Yeah, this Atma is also going to look a little bit different in about 30 seconds or less. Just doing egregious amounts of damage here.
EnsignWesley definitely doing more damage than Honey is.
This S-Cross is very scary.
Strago probably down here. Oh dear,
everybody
okay.
down here.
Did not expect the triple there. Yeah, so it looks like we're just going to get a Sword Tech 6 here from Realm, going with the Stunner option. 5k does not get the kill. Grand Train coming out.
Choo-choo, I think that's going to be the end of her. Not quite.
Does
okay.
walk it off. Ice 3 coming out.
And then the exact opposite encounter on the other side, just a tunnel armor.
And tunnel armor dispatcher very quickly with a couple of Ragnarok swings.
Yeah, that Genji Rag, that's also going to be putting in work. So both runners with very, very similar offense. I like Wesley's more, but it's hard to deny that HunnyDoo is popping.
And gets an Esper for his troubles right in there. Extra instant death, but that's not going to be super relevant because we're about to get cleave anyway. So that Esper, if it's going to be of value, it will be for what it has for abilities and stat bonuses.
Yeah, we do see a merchant sprite. So Doma Dream 2 is going to be an Esper. So the only thing that's left is to see what's on the throne. But that's going to, at the very worst, leave Honey at 7 and 7, which is not a bad place to be in.
And yeah, I mean, that's honestly what Honey wants to see. Like, he doesn't want a character to be there, I would reckon. That the more Magicites he gets now, the better. Because he knows where that character is. He just needs his levels to not be in multiples of 5. And he can get that skip at any time. So, he wants just all Espers from here on out.
Oh, yeah. Minus the Celeste, just because that gives him the skip. But yeah.
Right.
So, Wesley, we'll see if he comes back and does... okay, it looks like he's actually going to go and do Moogle Defense. That is fantastic for him.
Yeah,
just
because
had
that
to hit
gets
the pot
him
first.
the Cyan, and then he's going to be on kind of that same track.
Yeah. But now he can just reset out of the Doom Gaze.
Right, because he doesn't need a 9th character.
The Celeste will do nothing for him.
And honestly, Doma Defense is awkward because of the heal it gives. When you're using VKs, you know, being healed up to full is fine, but you really want to have taken some damage because VK, you know, just does so much work when you have taken a little bit of paint.
Okay, didn't see what was on that Esper that HunnyDoo got. Probably doesn't matter. His offense is more or less solved.
Yeah, this seed is playing out a little more like you'd expect for a Doom's Rage seed. Big sticks, hitting things hard, lots of high levels, lots of Ragnaroks and VKs and Genji gloves, and just all of the creature comforts that 20 Vigor loves to pair with. So this is what you want when you sign up to play Doom's Rage seeds. Now, granted, the checks are taking a while. It feels a little slow, but some seeds just be like that.
And, well, yeah, and at the end of the day, you're getting a bunch of levels from all of these dead checks and, the things, like, whatever you're fighting just in the interim.
And both runners have found good random encounters as well as they were, doing their early leveling. So, it's not as though our levels are left wanting. Everyone is set up pretty well here. And more Magicite for HunnyDoo gets Bismarck and gets those 8 sword techs. And knowing that Celeste is at Doma Defense, I do wonder if HunnyDoo is going to beeline back for that, or if he's going to head elsewhere. His levels right now are in a safe place at level 37, 38, so he could go take out that Doom Gaze. load up on that Celeste and maybe even get like a cell check or a Magitech 1 or 2. Lots of options for Espers at that point.
100%. Wesley just making a beeline for Dome of Dream. So HunnyDoo and Wesley just a little high five. So it was triple Esper, so that is going to put them at parity here, I think, once Wesley gets done. Because was Tritalk an Esper? I do not remember.
No, it is not.
Okay, yeah, so... and HunnyDoo doesn't have the Yeti, so isn't going to be able to go into the cave and get it skipped that way.
Yeah, it does give him a 4th dragon, though, so he only has to do 1 in the tower. So I think this is likely him hoping that Tritalk is an Esper and he gets his 4th dragon out of the way. Unfortunately, not quite going to work out that way, but he's going to just chew through this gold dragon. Actually, these parks from the Ragnarok probably slowing this down.
Oh yeah, probably. And we get the double. A little unfortunate.
Course. When it rains, it pours.
Yeah. Nice little unintentional heal there by Strago.
Looks like we're going for some reflect strats. HunnyDoo's been going to the Free Enterprise School of Combat. Love to see it.
It's the admission right there.
Arusa in chat pointing out that it is a 21 check skip too, so...
Yeah, 21 checks is happening for both runners, and the admission for the Free Enterprise School is very inexpensive. It's very affordable. You know, you always want to make sure that folks in all randomizers can teach each other what's happening and the right way to do things, and then watches that crossover knowledge only punishes you from seed to seed in the other randomizers. Ask Gar and myself how we know.
It's been a lot of fun learning FE, even if I'm just not good yet. I'll get there.
Exactly how I feel about Worlds Collide. Sortex 7 does not take out Dataluma for HunnyDoo. Both runners do have the skip, though. Wesley is going to be at 8 Espers after this. HunnyDoo going to be on 8 Espers as well. Who has the quickest Esper left at this point?
And
it's got to be HunnyDoo, I think.
Well, that's a tough question to answer too, right? Because, like we know that this isn't gonna be an Esper. If HunnyDoo does Zozo, that's not an Esper either.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, it is an Esper here.
Oh, it is an Esper. Okay.
Yeah, so HunnyDoo does get his unlock
lead
here.
Okay. Well, never mind. HunnyDoo pretty firmly in the lead here. So actually, Wesley is going to be kind of in a pickle here.
Yeah, Wesley definitely on a clock now with that being an Esper on HunnyDoo's side. So HunnyDoo also has 4 dragons to Wesley's 2. So there's a decent chance I would well, actually on HunnyDoo's side, auto image is not as important because he's not relying on VKs. He may still take one though. Or no, he's got to skip. He's not going to bother. Makes sense.
Yeah, you might as well jump, I guess. So down goes the tentacles for Wesley. He's going to be at his 8.
I would like to see Wesley pick up a 3rd dragon, which I think would be the Opera House dragon for him to get him auto haste and just a smidge more levels as well. But he's also, still got to find this last Esper, which on his side,
He never did find the gal, right? So
No.
he's got Mount Zozo. I think Mount Zozo is going to be his best bet.
Yeah, he's got Mount Zozo. He also has Esper Cave. I don't think anybody peaked Pumbaba either.
No Fumbaba peak for sure.
That's right. I always forget about Funbaba.
T-Zen Thief too, but I don't know if they peaked that either.
And we're reading World of Balance from Wesley while HunnyDoo finds Fumbaba. Speaking of the Fumbaba play, Wesley hopefully going to save here. Does not save. And this is spooky for two reasons. One, it's a character, and two, it's a Doomgaze, and I don't know what his levels are. So, yeah.
Good luck, Wesley. Now, he is a little bit more set up to take advantage of it than HunnyDoo is, just because he's got the Valiant Knives over the Ragnaroks. And Sortex 7, which helps.
And no one died.
Which also helps.
Funbaba, though, speaking of dying, has died. And looks like we are getting a VK Atma pairing on HunnyDoo's side here, going into the statue. Force armor in the validation chest. Good job, HunnyDoo.
There's Goddess.
Which, as long as there's no love token, is fine. So naturally, love token comes out immediately.
Way to commentate to curse that.
Yeah, yep. Well, we were overdue.
Oh, that's heartbreaking too. He had quick. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's gonna reset, cast the quick, and then might actually get away with just one round here.
With double rag, he would get away with it rather than the Atma. Yeah, I like the transition back there. Quick 4 hits with rag, fights over. But the Atma makes sense if it's going to be like, Poltergeist in particular, because it just penetrates the defense. So I like this setup. It just didn't pan out in that particular situation.
Yeah, so nice heads up play by Honey there, realizing that he can just get through this with quick.
99.64, nicely done, Locke.
And wham bam, thank you, bam.
Oh, just a Mega Elixir on Wesley's side from the Celis's check. That's rough going for him because he really needed that to be his final Kefka unlock there. Yeah. Now I think it's got to be Magitech 1-2.
Magitech 1-2 is the play that I would go and just
hope
that it's not dead. Zen Thief maybe. Again, I do not remember what was there. And yeah, at this point, you just pay whatever he asked for. Well,
it's not a Magicite.
Not a Magicite.
Real rough sledding for Wesley here. Now, this is the point where if you're in his shoes, you start to get nervous. Because even though you haven't made any mistakes, now you are deep enough into a run that you just feel like you chose the wrong path. Because you know what other checks are open. And now you start to kind of feel that panic that I've been one Esper away for a number of minutes now. I've had a number of dead checks. This is where that finally starts to settle in. It's like, okay, now I know I'm on a clock. And this is where it gets spooky.
And really, like it can't be overstated that EnsignWesley, I think, routed the best that he could, given the options available to him. It's just HunnyDoo had it a little better.
Yeah, I think ultimately it came down to having the Fanatics Tower stuff in play and being willing to take that and also, do that early and do the dragon with it. That choice of HunnyDoo really paid off. Whether
Yeah.
right or wrong or indifferent, that was the play that made the seed for him.
Oh, 100%. It
You know,
gave him an extra Ragnarok. It gave him that Gao, which gave him a really quick Esper.
yeah, just a lot of value coming from that. So the early Strago checks, he did Burning House earlier, he did Fanatic's Tower, did Ebbett's Rock a little earlier as well. So just doing all of Strago's checks, which, all three of them had characters, right? Or at least two of them did.
Well, hang on. What was that Burning House? I don't think that was a character.
It was at least two characters, but either way, doing the Strago checks as early as he could definitely put HunnyDoo into the pole position here. And yeah, piranhas, that is not what you want to see. And these are long piranhas too. These can be anywhere from 5 to 55 seconds. And yeah,
this is looking like a 55 seconder.
This is unpleasant. Oh dear.
He's got to be feeling the squeeze here. And meanwhile, HunnyDoo is two statues down, has one more to go. Really, just cooking.
And with this offense, that's what you'd expect. Is for the statues in Final Kefka to get cooked, and rightfully so.
Absolutely.
This particular seed not been shy on handing out offense like candy to our runners. So we knew once they got here to this point, there's not a lot to talk about.
Now,
Poltergeist is going to try.
And he will probably fail. Terra's in the back row. Okay. That makes a lot more sense now. So finds the Golem Esper. That's actually really nice for Wesley because HunnyDoo found that Fenrir. Fenrir was the Esper in Burning House. So now has some calmness protection. I don't like Golem as much as Fenrir, but it gets the job done. Speaking of cooking, wake up.
That is one of the detriments of not having shields, is that you become a little bit weaker to elemental nonsense. And Poltergeist is particularly good at at being a spicy chicken and elementaling you.
Yep.
Now, with the Genji glove on and having Ragnarok and Atma weapon, I know that we've seen multiple Atma weapons. Would you have thought about, knowing that Poltergeist is here, moving a second Atma weapon over? If we have one, or a VK if Terra can use it, just to get rid of the Ragnarok for this fight?
That's what I would be doing. I only ever saw one Atma weapon. There may have been another one somewhere else, but it would have been, like, if I had the option, it would have been double Atma for sure. And Wesley... Okay. Is not terribly happy with what he saw there, so probably going to reform his party to be a little bit more friendly to Poltergeist.
And makes sense. Poltergeist is the meanie. Now that being said, Goddess can still cause problems. We saw HunnyDoo get through those problems with a combination of quick and then multiple hits. Unfortunately, this Terra just receiving the bad end of every counterattack here from Poltergeist.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. But HunnyDoo doesn't know this, but he's got time.
And it's interesting, this Poltergeist is far and away harder than Final Kefka is going to be for him. So this is where he's going to blow X potions and elixirs and all of that, because this is the fight that he needs to get through, and he does. So good usage of those consumables.
So yeah, HunnyDoo basically up the entirety of the skip, and we'll maybe do some final equips and then start his tiers. So a good deal ahead of Wesley. Again, HunnyDoo is not out of the woods quite yet. A bad set of tiers can equalize things pretty rapidly.
Yeah, our HP is not to the point where we are completely immune from things like Meteo shenanigans in tier 3, if it's like a double Meteo situation. Um, while we have Fenrir doesn't stop Meteo. And then, things can always happen if only one or two people are left when you get to tier 4, and then an Ultima pops out, which you hope wouldn't happen. That's where I think the difference is going to be. Because HunnyDoo has auto haste, HunnyDoo has the ability to go through and, just clean up with instant death a lot of things. So like tier 1, tier 2, not really going to be a problem for him. Tier 3 and 4 is really the only place that he could stumble. And speaking of unfortunately stumbling, Wesley gets popped by Poltergeist, and I think that means he has to go back in again to the statues here.
Yeah, it sure does. And like normally for this is why I go up the middle path first. And that's just because you want to get that save point so that way you're not having to do all of these shenanigans every time you wipe. And you like the statues are not easy. And you will wipe almost certainly unless you truly have power overwhelming.
And I do wonder, is there ever a situation where, you run like Paladin Shield VK or Paladin Shield Atma weapon here instead of double VK? I know it's slower, but it's faster than taking multiple resets. And maybe that's too conservative at this level of play, but I do wonder if that's an option ever.
That's probably what I would do is like Atma weapon Paladin Shield. You're going to be swinging for... call it about 6k a pop, and you're not going to die. So,
yeah, it looks like still going double VK here. So just trying to push. Stop does
okay.
Reflect.
The stop is going to do it.
Yeah, that is good night to Poltergeist for Wesley, and that's huge for him.
Yeah, he needed this.
Love the Yeti just big chilling there like, I'm helping. It's like, no, you're not. Go away. Now, Poltergeist does have haste on, so might get out of that stop. Just kidding. Poltergeist is dead. And speaking of dead, I believe that is tier 1 that is dead for HunnyDoo. Nope, not quite. I think
not
we're
quite.
1 hit away.
This will do it here, I think.
And I like the Vanish cast there to keep the lock safe, since a crit would likely remove him from the fight. Making sure he doesn't get hit by the pure physical there. Very heads up to protect one of his primary pieces of offense.
Great play there by HunnyDoo. But I mean, he's an excellent runner. You expect that level of foresight from him. So on to tier 2. That Sword Tech 8 gonna coming in handy here.
Not before a grab bomb comes out, but that's still fine. Mute
Whiff
as well on the table, and then probably a Sword Tech 6 for stop if we even care at that point. Might just be a Sword Tech 7 for damage and just not care about stopping hit.
I will tell you that I basically never cared about stopping hit, so I imagine that we're just going to see full sin Sword Tech 7s.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That said, Sword Tech 6 Realm, if anyone were to go Sword Tech 6 there for damage as well, it would be her.
And normally, like, that's a real source of damage, right? But there's 2 factors working against it, and it's the minus magic and the plus vigor, which really just makes Sword Tech 7 so good. But there's 10 hits. Down goes Thumbaba for Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley basically trading statues for tiers at this point with HunnyDoo, and unfortunately, that is not going to be a winning recipe. Wesley basically needs an unmitigated disaster tier 3, tier 4 for HunnyDoo. If that happens, he might have just enough time to eke out ahead here, but it's a very narrow window for Wesley to get it done here.
It would have to be like truly unfortunate, like a whirlwind into a counter meteor.
Yeah.
But like I'm not even sure if that's going to happen. I think the damage is such that you're just going to skip meteor altogether.
Yeah, I would think that between Locke's 2 hits and Sword Tech 7 that there's just going to be so much damage on the table here that unless we're intentionally counting to try to hit it under 10k instead of just kill it from over 10k, I would expect not to even see a meteor here as well.
Yeah. Dr. DT being extremely rude to me in the chat. You're banned forever. I'm just kidding.
Personal attacks are not warranted, but they are funny in this particular case.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like a full Sword Tech 7 there for HunnyDoo, doing about 12k.
Which is a little harder to math out. If Locke double hits for 9s here... Okay, no, he's not anywhere near that. So that's another 12. That's 24k. So, yeah, I'm going to use quick to finish it.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Yep. Quick and attacks and ensure that no disaster can happen. And that'll be phase 3. Easy breezy, beautiful HunnyDoo.
I'm telling him you said that.
Okay. Double calmness doesn't matter.
In theory, if he calmnesses the same person twice and that first calmness removes the image status, it could be trouble. I've seen it a couple of times. But
yeah, but
Yabba dabba HunnyDoo.
Yeah, but you gotta do what you gotta yabba dabba HunnyDoo.
So the only way this goes sideways for HunnyDoo basically would be if for some reason he gets Fallen One into Ultima.
Fallen One Ultima counter is like, yeah, that's the only thing that I see. But like, I think he's just gonna skip the Fallen One here. Yeah, quick into bops.
Even has time during the animation to charge up a Sword Tech 7, so that'll guarantee it pushes. There's 13k. It's a 26k. Well, 26 plus the Rag proc, which is actually slowing him down. So yeah, more than enough damage going to come out here with the Sword Tech as well. So no Fallen One.
May get an Ultima, but the Ultima isn't gonna do anything. And no,
if he quicks again with Lock, it's over. But now he doesn't even need to. He could just
hold A. But
yeah.
he for safety, you quick, you hit A, and that's gonna be the end of the seed for HunnyDoo. GG's to him. Probably gonna be the flare proc. Yeah, that is actually slowing him down.
And there it is.
124.02 or so for HunnyDoo. GG's to him. Very, very nicely played.
Yeah, probably not feeling great about his time, but some seeds are just slower than others. Even with the power that was provided, he had to do a lot of checks. The checks were slow because of the characters that were provided. Progression was slow, and he made the most of it. So GG's to HunnyDoo. Again, 124.04, and that is going to move Team Doomgaze all the way up to 4-0, still undefeated in the event, and move Team Inferno down to 1-3. So they are going to have their work cut out for them to climb back up into potential round 2 or brackets of the tournament.
Yeah, remains to be seen. There are 2 more weeks in this forming stage. And speaking of, hello, HunnyDoo. Congratulations on
GG's.
Oh, GG's. That seed had some goofy moments, I gotta say.
Yeah, talk to us about it.
Yeah, let's start with the burning house. With the movers doing,
The level 4 flare, yeah.
yeah, level 4 flare, and I happen to have everybody at level 12. And the funny thing about that is, I had skipped an encounter on the way to that fight. If I wouldn't have skipped that encounter, I would have been level 13. Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It's
Level
just the
5.
little things, right?
Yeah. Got level 5 doomed at Doma Castle. It was a lot, but try my best not to go on tilt.
I wanted to ask, very early in the seed, you were, given a decision of what we talked about as being a very difficult one, honestly. You were given a choice at Locks check, the weapons check, of either a Ragnarok or an Esper. Was there ever a thought to taking that Ragnarok for you?
I was going to reset if the Esper wasn't good, but it was tier 3 magic, so I kept it.
Mhm.
I will say, people in general, they severely, severely underrate how good magic is in Doom's Rage flag sets. Like, I've seen people, they actually got good magic, but they think they have to keep fighting every turn because of the high vigor. It's like, no, magic is busted. Like, minus 10 magic power is nothing. Magic is so busted that doesn't matter. So, yeah, I was very happy to keep the Ice 3. So that's, and also, I grinded at Figaro Cave specifically to learn Ice 3. Like, that wasn't even for levels. I didn't care what level I was. I just wanted to get Ice 3.
Yeah, there were a lot of actually really good grind spots. The South Figaro basement had the Aquila Chaos Dragon encounter and the 4 Reach Frogs.
Oh, that's crazy. I haven't grinded in basement in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't either, and I think if I had played this, I wouldn't have grinded there either.
Yeah, I like going Figaro Cave, because you could grind in the cave, you could grind on the grass, and you could grind in the desert. Like, one of those 3 gotta have a good encounter.
So,
and you get the like to heal it.
Yeah, well, like, it was only like half the cave that was good, right? Because, like, there were level 80 and 90 magics, and then there was the actual good encounter that you want, right? So...
Yeah, when I saw the level magic, I had precisely 1 smoke bomb. That was my warning to get out of there.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna push my luck.
Yeah, no, I really can't blame you. But
yeah,
I really don't have a lot of questions for you. I really liked how you ran through the seed. I loved your use of quick to get through a lot of checks.
Oh, yeah, I kind of threw that first goddess fight because I did my first turn, I get love tokened, and I go into my magic. Like, I didn't expect Locke to have anything, but then I see quick, and I remember, oh yeah, that's the reason why I didn't send 2 characters in that lane in the first place, because I knew Locke was going to be okay when he had quick. But in between making that decision and getting there, I forgot about quick. But once I was reminded, instead of trying to salvage the fight, I just reset instantly and went double Ragnarok, and I knew if I quick on the first turn, because
you just one-shot her.
Yeah, because luckily Locke started off the fight on the side with her back turned.
Yep.
And my weapon doesn't do double damage to her back, but Ragnarok does, so that's why I put the Ragnarok back on.
Yeah, and plus, Goddess really doesn't have any physical defense anyway, so the defensive ignoring properties of Atma kind of don't do anything.
Right, and with a lot of these seeds, I've talked about the statues and all about the interviews. I was very fortunate that each and every character went in the lane for the statue they were best at fighting. They had Locke had the goddess he could one-shot. Realm had the sword tech. Sword tech gets through the phase 2 of the Doom gimmick. And I sent the double character down Poltergeist, and the double character gets around his counter-attack gimmick because they could just keep Phoenix down on each other. So, Tarek got knocked out like 5 times, but Strago just picked her back up every time.
Yeah, well, you also had Auto Reflect too, right? So possible that he could have just led the fight with a stop and then Hey, there you go. Free poltergeist.
He never does that for me. Not in races, anyway.
Oh, yeah, no. It's always shrapnel for me. So.
But yeah, I was real happy with the poltergeist fight, because I think that's the only lane where I was guaranteed, well, not guaranteed to beat it, but that lane was my best shot. So I was happy my 2-man lane ran into poltergeist.
Week 5, you were up against Retrophile TV playing in Poltergeist Fury. Do you have a particular plan that you like to do?
Don't make any mistakes. I say about two or three good mistakes, and he's got me. So I gotta, just play solid. Try and play straightforward. I'm probably not gonna go for any cute plays. Gonna go as standard.exe as I can, and hopefully have the better execution. But yeah, I'm not planning anything cute. Just go in it straight.
No wire moving into Figaro basement.
Oh, I'm gonna do some wire removing, but
Oh.
it won't be like, trying to like big brain the seed and find like some hidden path. It'll be wire removing. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, yeah, that's all I've got. Possum, do you have anything else for Honey?
No, like I've said multiple times to multiple people today, it's been amazing to watch so many good runners today play these seeds. Just an incredible knowledge base that y'all have, and put on a heck of a show for the audience. So just appreciate you volunteering to be restreamed so that everybody can not just watch and enjoy it, but also so someone like myself can learn from it. So GG's and very well run.
Thank you. As always, I want to thank the staff and the commentator, and as always, huge shout outs to my my team. We were able to get the W this week. I was the last one to play. Hopefully we keep it up week 5 and stay undefeated.
Best of luck with that. Good luck in the coming weeks.
All right, thanks guys. Catch you later.
Have a good night.
GG's again. Good night.
So Wesley, finally getting through that Doom fight, actually had a little bit of a rough time. He kept hitting Terra in the face, and it was not pleasant.
Yeah, something we had kind of talked about, it might not even have been this race, but the prior one, is that sometimes you just struggle to find armor on this flag set. And Terra just did not have armor. And Doom was exploiting that weakness of not having armor. So yeah, it was awkward, and then there were multiple times where he could not break the image status. Where HunnyDoo was talking about, you have sword tech, or you have whatever you need to get through that gimmick. Yeah, Wesley did not have that, and Doom was not cooperating. Top that off with some unfortunate North crosses, and yeah, you have a recipe for a very rude Doom, which is normally not the rude boss in this flag set. It's normally one of the other two statues.
Oh, yeah. Doom is, I think, unanimously like the easiest of the statues. Not necessarily a pushover, but more of an annoyance than like a real threat. But here, you get to see, once he gets going, he can get going. So
yeah, targeting into Demon Rage is no joke.
yeah. But onto the statues. The cleave is going to come out. Goodbye tools. There's the mute. Goodbye magic.
We do have Golem. Just want to make sure not to use it on this phase. We want to use it next. But doing big chunks of damage here.
Yeah, I think that was Tigerhead dying.
Need to be careful here with Strago.
Yeah,
see
the preemptive X potion.
Yeah, I don't hate it. He's gonna take a little bit of damage here from 10 hits once that happens, so that's fine. You just don't want him taking lethal. So if he gets hit, 3-4 times, that's fine. But look at these numbers coming out. Like Realm taking 200 in the back row, Strago taking 400 to 600, Locke taking 800.
That's actually really nice, yeah.
Yeah, actually quite nice with VKs, because now you can just do extra damage. It gets a little spooky if, tier 3 opens up with, let's say, Merton, and we don't have protection for it. But otherwise, I mean, tier 3 is going to evaporate.
Yeah. Merton here, I'm not sure what elemental protection is in play. It might be none.
Well, we have a paladin shield, but
we do have a paladin
that's all
shield.
I know of.
And I don't know who has that equipped.
Couldn't tell you.
In any event, Terra might survive. If Strago doesn't have the thing, he will die. But being nice, opening up with absolutely nothing.
Nothing, yeah. It's what, Whirlwind or W-Wind, Merton, and nothing, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then I believe his second turn is Condemned, melee hit, or nothing.
We see Golem coming up. Still a little spooky with Strago under 1,000 health. We need to death by math this. I think one more hit from Locke kills here, so I think we're going to wait on Locke. Merton is not what we wanted to see, though. Strago lives, never mind. It's perfectly fine. Okay. I mean, we just unga bunga here with Locke. Oh, that's spooky with Realm. Or even Strago, either one of them would be fine here.
Yeah, so he's trying to math everything out. And I think that's good. Yeah, so now there he goes.
And easy peasy.
That was potentially pretty scary. But EnsignWesley, again, a fantastic player, knows what he is doing.
And there will be no fallen one. That's my prediction here.
I would be extremely surprised if there's a fallen one.
So I think between Locke and Strago, they are going to push over 30,000 damage themselves pretty easily.
I reckon that you're right. Unfortunate, too, that Wesley got that egg, kept it on Realm basically the whole seed, and now she's just kind of sitting there. All the glory goes to the Valiant Knife.
Yeah, it was about 35k there.
Okay, does skip Fallen One.
Yeah, this is done. If not here, the sword deck does it.
There it is. Yep. The power of VK.
Mm-hmm. Made the investment, bought 3 of them, had found the other one. 137.58. Probably not thrilled with the run, with how the statues turned out, but showed the power of the early egg, was really able to leverage that into some very strong early levels, and then kind of flip that around on Kefka at the end there with the VKs, the sword tech, and all that. So might not have worked out, but certainly, Wesley proving he is no slouch.
Oh, absolutely not. Like I said, he's a terrific player. Actually, probably the closest thing I've had to a mentor when I first started playing. So, just unfortunate that his plan didn't exactly work out the way that he wanted, but still an excellent attempt. Anytime you get to swing a bunch of Valiant Knives, usually is a good seed.
Indeed.
And we are joined by Wesley. Hello, sir. GG's to you.
Hello. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the seed. Tell us what you think about it and all that wonderful stuff.
Well, where do I start? The seed, I thought it opened strong because I got some great experience in South Figaro, but it just dragged on and on and on, and final statues went a bit slower than I would have liked. Terra was a bit weaker than I realized. I'm interested to rewatch it though and see what Honey did that got him ahead, so much ahead.
Well, like honestly, it wasn't a whole lot. It basically came down to two things. The first is that your offense was mostly centered around Valiant knives, and his offense was mostly centered around a bunch of Ragnaroks. And then the second is that he just lucked some really good statue placements. Like he just happened to set up his party such that he could effectively take on all the statues.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have like the same issues with Doom that you had, where he would just bop a Terra over and over.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I'm wondering where he found the Ragnaroks.
That also is part of it, is that he made a very early Fanatics Tower run, and the Dragon gave a Ragnarok, as well as Tower giving Gao. Now, Gao itself wasn't particularly useful, but did open up some quicker checks for him, and some leading checks as well. So it was one of those situations where that I don't know if it's off meta or whatnot, but making that early play for Fanatics Tower gave him both a Ragnarok and progression, and that was quite a boon for him compared to your early offense. And that does kind of tie me into a question that I also asked HunnyDoo. Both of you took the Esper from the weapons check in for Locke. Did you have any consideration of taking the early Ragnarok there?
Was actually instant regret for me. I took it out of muscle memory, out of instinct, and then as soon as I took it, I was like, whoops, I don't really have any offense. I should have just took this to get going. I don't know if that was the right play or not, going for the Esper over the Ragnarok. But yeah.
It's a tough call, right? Because you want the progression, and there's no guarantee that you'll find a Terra so that you can pick up whatever you left behind. But at the same time, like, my goodness, it's a Ragnarok.
Right. I think with that start, the right play was to take the Ragnarok, because there was no both the characters didn't have offense. But yeah, I took it. I took the Esper just out of muscle memory.
And it happened to be a very good Esper, at least. It had Ice 3, and it helped you get moving. So I don't think it was really truly a punish. It was just a very big point of interest that I was curious about from both of you. And with you both making the same choice, it kept things on parity. Was just a very interesting point of discussion.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice right off the bat there for sure. Yeah, if I had my time back, I would have went the other way.
I still think that you put on one heck of a show, and
yep.
Given everything that happened to you, you were still putting up a competitive time, I think. So
yeah, I thought it was going to be a stronger. Well, I shouldn't say that. I thought it was going to be a quicker seed for me, but yeah, the final statues went a bit slower than I would have liked. Maybe I should have put Terra, or I should have put Strago there on the lane alone instead of Terra. I was kind of against Strago because he kept dying on me.
Well, everybody should be against Strago, right?
Well, it's true. But yeah, it's still GG's. Doom flag set is my least favorite one. I just seem to do the worst at it. Yeah, but good job to Honey.
Yeah, so next week you were up against Drinks Glue in a Poltergeist Fury flag set. Do you have any plans for that seed? Like, how do you normally approach a Poltergeist seed?
My strategy for this flag set, and this is probably why I like the Doom flag set the least, is I try to get one check right off the go, and then take advantage of the low enemy HP to just grind a bunch of levels right away. This works better in Polty and Goddess because you have more scaling to start with the 3 and 4 characters. So I'm probably going to stick to that strategy. I'm going to practice it a few more times before I play Drinks Glue and see how it goes.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in that. I know that Drinks Glue is a heck of a player, but you are also a heck of a player, so ought to be an exciting match to watch.
Thank you, sir. And yes, that is very true. Drinks Glue is one of the best up-and-coming Drinks Glue and Honey. They're going to be 2 to look out for in Elixir next season of Ultros League.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's all I've got for you. Possum, anything for EnsignWesley here?
No, just kind of the same thing as I've been blessed to be able to say to everybody so far, is that it's a pleasure to watch such high-level runners play this game, to learn from, and just to be in the booth and see y'all do what you do. Keep it up. It might not be the result you wanted tonight, but that doesn't take away from the fact that you played it incredibly well. Just the pathing didn't quite work out, but you're a heck of a runner, and I look forward to getting to watch you the next 2 weeks, and maybe even into the playoffs if y'all make it there as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I will see you guys later, and good luck to both of you and your runs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. GG's.
See you.